NBA, right? That's the best team in the league. We competed, you know. We didn't use being tired or anything, a back-to-back as an excuse. We came out and competed, and these are the games I want to be a part of. And I still feel like I played awful. I don't want to take them many shots, but I know Kobe will be proud of me. But at the end of the day, we competed at a high level to the end, and we got a great team win.
The Hawks have done it again for the second time this week, beating the Boston Celtics, this time 123-122. Dejounte Murray hits another game winner. Fun fact for you guys, Dejounte Murray is 4 of 4 on go-ahead shots, either in the fourth quarter or overtime to end the game. So by that definition, he is the clutchest player in the NBA. He shows up big tonight with a throwback 2003-like performance, breaking the Hawks record in shot attempts tonight and still dropping, I think it was 44 points tonight. Yes, sir. 44, 7 and 7, 18 of 44, 16 and 19 from 3. You know, this is the type of performance you don't really see in today's NBA anymore, with the fact that we have established that, you know, taking that many shots is not the best and it's ball hogging and the game has turned into efficiency. So you don't really see this. The only two players who've done this, I think, in the last 10 years, 10 to 20 years, I think 10 years, 20 years has been Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, and Russell Westbrook. So Dejounte Murray making history tonight as well. But overall, this was a classic in Atlanta as the Hawks, like I said, beat the best team in the league twice in 1 week. The third team in the NBA this year to beat Boston twice in a season series. So that's also another notch in their belt as well. This was a big-time performance. It was March Madness NBA version at State Farm Arena tonight. The crowd was going insane. Everyone was going wild. This was the kind of game that reinvigorates a franchise. And it's funny because we just had the biggest comeback in franchise history on Monday against this team. And so, you know, we're going for an encore tonight. And the fact that this was the game, we knew Boston was not going to come out in this game and allow, if they had a big lead, to probably squander. This game was competitive from start to finish. This was it was like games 3 through 6 last year in the playoff series against the Boston Celtics, with the type of performance we saw tonight. Just back and forth basketball, multiple lead changes, guys stepping up all over the court, and it eventually led to Dejounte Murray hitting the sweet spot, the mid-range over Drew Holiday to win the game in overtime for the Atlanta Hawks. So you already know what it is. It's your Believe in Hawks podcast. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, tune in for more Hawks content after this, because we're going to have a great show today, man. Talk about this game, man. A lot to talk about as the Hawks, like I said, get a very exciting victory over the Boston Celtics tonight. And it's one of those things, man, where, when I was looking at the timeline before the game, a lot of people were talking and kind of being like, all right, well, Boston's healthy tonight. They should beat us tonight. If we can remain competitive, that would be a plus. Like, a lot of Hawks fans were kind of like, listen, we had our big win. We had our comeback. They'll probably come back tonight. They'll probably be like, all right, we're not gonna like not take these guys seriously, and we're healthy. They should beat us handily, right? And tonight, that was not the case. The Hawks came out with probably, again, one of the better defensive games, if not one of the best defensive games they've had all year, really, against these guys, and just competing from start to finish, dominating on the boards, out physicaling the Boston Celtics. One thing I've said about this Boston Celtics team is I said they're probably one of the most skillful teams in the NBA. Their skill level is second to none in this game. But one of the mismatches that I think teams can take advantage of with this Boston team is they're not a physical team at all. If you remember the Golden State series in the finals a couple years ago, how Golden State was able to win 3 straight and beat Boston, it was easy for them. All they had to do was out physical Boston, and they beat them. That's why the Heat have given the Boston Celtics so much trouble, because they just could out physical them, and that's what makes the game hard for them. They are not a physical team, and I said this too, because Clint Capella had a great game tonight. I said when they traded Robert Williams, they did become a better offensive team. They became more skillful. You are definitely a more dangerous team. It's reflected in the team record. But the thing you lost when you traded Robert Williams, if you're the Boston Celtics, is you lost physicality. You lost energy. You lost shot blocking. You lost all of that. Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3", so naturally he should be able to block shots. But, like, it's just not the same with Robert Williams. gave you. Robert Williams is a guy who could actually go against Clint Capella and match up with Clint Capella because he's basically the exact same type of player. Put back, dunks, rebounding, block shots. That's what he does. And he's he's more athletic than Clint. And I think what you did when you made that trade is that now you got skill over that. And that's why I think Clint Capella has been so effective against Boston in 2 games. He's always kind of been effective against Boston just because of the that's their weakness. If you're the Celtics, is your size. But Clint Capella tonight was able to take advantage of that and pretty much be able to, get second chance opportunities, which it wasn't just him. DeAndre Hunter got involved in second chance opportunities. Bogey got a couple of second chance opportunities. Vic Krejci got a couple of second chance opportunities. The Hawks were crashing the boards tonight, and that really led to a lot of success in getting second chance opportunities against this team. I mean, Hawks had 17 offensive rebounds tonight. That's 17 second chance opportunities, basically. So that tells you right there what this what this was like. And it's one of those things that it just kind of shows you the resiliency and the depth of this team to fight in a game like this against that talent, against Boston. Because Boston's a legit team, but to come out to do what they did tonight was very, very impressive, man. Like, and going back to DJ too, there's been a lot of discourse, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the pod, about just people trying to put Trae and Dejounte against each other. And there was a moment after Dejounte hit that game winner, him and Trae embracing, him and Trae, putting their heads together, celebrating after that. I think those are the type of images that you want to see, because that shows that there's that investment, there's that love between the two teammates, and people have always wondered about the relationship, especially this year. And so to see that between those two was really good to see. And it just shows you that, this Hawks team, it feels like more like a team, and not saying they haven't all year. But I think this season has been such an anomaly of development, learning, and growth that I think the thing is that the Hawks had more growing and developing that they needed to do more than they thought they did. That maybe more than the entire the fan base thought they needed to do. And you've had unluckiness with injuries and things of that nature, and that has not helped at all. But what you're seeing is this team is really like a talented team that, it kind of reminds me of the 2021 run with the injuries, because if you think about that run, the Hawks had injuries. They had Hunter hurt, Cam was hurt, right? And they were in the rotation. You basically didn't have a 3 outside of Solo. And, I mean, you could have did Nathan Knight. He was 3-4-ish, and things like that. But the reason why I said that team had so much success is everybody had a defined role. Everybody knew, because we don't have certain guys, we have to do this on a nightly basis for us to be able to win and to be able to be effective. And I think with the injuries that you're seeing right now, you're seeing that with this current team. Dejounte knows, I gotta do what I'm doing. I've said this multiple times. Some of the performances Dejounte has had, it's like he kind of has to. It's not like someone else had it going and then Dejounte just didn't give him the ball. It was one of those things where he's like, listen, we're going against Boston. Someone's going to have to put up 30 tonight if we're going to beat this team. And so I guess it's me, because I'm the point guard. I have the ball in my hands the most, and I got to make plays. And like I said before, the fact that he broke, I think, Bob Pennett's record for most shot attempts as a Hawk. I mean, in today's league, you may think that's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily, because if you win, he really heated up more in the second quarter and the fourth quarter were the quarters I would say DJ really heated up. First quarter kind of struggled. Second quarter heated up. Third quarter was fine. Fourth quarter, we know what he did. And then overtime, we know what he did. So, it was one of those performances, man, that you're going to remember for a while, because he carried this team on his back when he had to. He had to carry him in overtime and get him over the top to get this win. And that's what stars do in this league. They will you to victories. And that's what Dejounte Murray has done. And when he's been put in those positions, he has been, again, one of the most clutch players in the NBA this season. But like I said, it was a team effort tonight too, guys. I mean, we could talk about what Dejounte did down the stretch, but it was a team effort tonight as well. Bogey had 24 points, and Bogey did not have a great night shooting the 3 ball. He did not make a 3-pointer, I think, until the fourth quarter. So it was a while before Bogey hit a 3. But he was able to kill Boston penetrating. And that's one thing in this game that I saw that they also did in Monday. The Hawks have been able to penetrate Boston's defense. They've been able to just drive past their guards, whether it's Derek White, whether it's Drew Holiday, whether it's Jason Tatum, whether it's Jaylen Brown. They have been able to get past the defense and penetrate. And Bogey was, even though he wasn't hitting the three ball, he was still scoring inside. He was driving right into the paint and hitting buckets. And also that could also be part of the, Robert Williams isn't there anymore thing. But the fact that he was able to do that, the fact that he was able to, perform that way, even when the three ball wasn't going for him, showed you that, like I said, people look at Bogey and think, oh, he's a three-point shooter. Bogey has a more rounded offensive game than you think. He is not just a shooter. He can score in different ways if he has to. And in this game, he had to until he was able to hit two big threes, especially the one with DeAndre Hunter, who passed it out to him. And I gotta give love to DeAndre Hunter, man, because 5 and 9 from three, 50% from the field, play hard tonight, 40 minutes tonight. Clearly the minute restrictions are off him. 21 points, 13 rebounds, big on the boards, as I said. Hunter missed 2 free throws late in the game, and it would be easy if we lost this game for people to go after Hunter and say, oh, he's still a bum, whatever. People still not fan of Hunter. Hunter, and the thing about team ball and basketball and making plays and winning is that you're not always going to have great moments. You're not always going to have those moments that are going to make you look like a hero. There's going to be downtimes. There's going to be shots that you miss. You may miss the bat. There's going to be free throws that you miss. It's just part of the game. Everybody goes through those moments. DeAndre had his moment tonight. He missed 2 free throws tonight, down 1. He could have tied the game if he at least hit 1. And Boston had the ball, and everybody was like, man, this isn't good. We may lose the game now. DeAndre missed and everything. But what happened was is that on the next possession, Dejounte put up a shot. If you remember Monday, Clint Capella had that big offensive rebound, got it out to DeAndre Hunter late, and that was basically the dagger in the game. Tonight, DeAndre Hunter gets a big rebound, gets it out to Bogey, bang, gets him in overtime. It's the little things, man. Because I remember when they cut to him and during that timeout, DeAndre Hunter had his head down, missing those 2 free throws, because you feel like, damn, I let the team down. But for him to come back and make that big of a play, even though it's not even scoring, it was just a board. 13 big ones tonight on the boards to get it out to Bogey, who has not been great from 3. And for Bogey to hit that shot just shows you the resiliency of this team. It shows you the fight that this team has. Because that is what good teams do. They persevere through the bad times, through the rough times, through tough breaks. And this is a weird night for the Hawks, realistically. Because here's a stat. Hawks only had a total of 10 free throws tonight. Boston at 21. I would say in this game that the Hawks drove to the paint a lot, and there was a lot of things they did not get called. So I think after the first half, the Hawks only had like 1 or 2 free throws. So like attempts. So refs were not giving them that call. Plus, apparently, I'm looking at Bleacher Report stats. Apparently, the Hawks had 7 technical fouls tonight. 7 of them. I think they had a couple of defensive 3 seconds. I know Dejounte got teed up. I know Trae got teed up for stepping onto the court. I think someone else got teed up tonight. So, I don't know if that's actually a real stat. It says 7 technical fouls, which is insane. That Boston got 7 free points off of that. But that's what they said, and they persevered. Everybody played a role tonight, man. Vic Krejci only had 2 points. He only took 1 shot, which was the putback. And you know what's crazy? Vic Krejci, he's not going to maybe score every game, but he'll impact the game in other ways. He'll do other stuff. He'll play well in other ways. And for me, he's a guy who he competed against Tatum. He was playing defense tonight, and he was battling. He fouled out. He was battling, man. He has a tough matchup in this game against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And he battled. He was in there. He was trying to fight on the boards. He was in there. Like Krejci was a big energy, big effort guy tonight. So I want to give him his flowers because he definitely stepped up tonight, even though it may have not reflected in the stat line. And like I said, I already told you Capella double-double, big double-double for him tonight. Again, Wesley Matthews didn't have the shot going tonight. Only hit a 3. But came up clutch. When Krejci went out of the game, he had to come in, defend Tatum, defend Brown. Brown hit some great shots at the end. Brown, listen, Boston has great shot makers. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are great shot makers. I will give that to them. They're great shot makers. But he came in there and he defended. And that's why he led the entire bench unit in minutes, because at the end of the day, he's one of the best matchups the Hawks have to defend them right now. Because Jalen Johnson is hurt right now. And he did an admirable job. He was on the boards too at 5 of them. 3 assists, impacting the game in other ways. Bruno's 3 of 3 tonight, 6-4-2. Doesn't seem like a lot, but he was balling. He was competing. Garrison Matthews only had 7 tonight, but he competed tonight. And Trent Forrest, only played 6 minutes and gave you 4 points. And I always say any offensive Trent Forrest is a bonus. So that was the night for Boston, man. I mean, for the Hawks, man. Coming in here, 49% from the field, 34% from 3. Doing their thing. And I also said one of the big things that I also noticed with Boston is one thing that Boston has been elite at this year is 3-point shooting. These last couple of games, they have not been as great from the 3-point line. Now, they shot 39% to, in the game. They started to heat up a little bit with the 3, but even in the first quarter, that 3-point shot wasn't going for them. And that's what really kept the Hawks in the game, is that when the Hawks have gotten beat down by Boston, it's because they allowed them to just start making raining threes. And it's just hard to come back on a team that can keep just making threes on you. That's hard, unless you're making threes just like them. But they've been able to kind of control it better. And that's helped them stay competitive. And I said this last game too. I said Quinn Snyder has kind of found a way to attack Boston. Like, I'm not sitting here saying Quinn Snyder has cracked the code and we'll beat Boston and play him in the series. I'm not going to say that. But he definitely has figured out, okay, we could attack these guys. We could attack Kristaps Porzingis, which the Boston's got to figure out how to handle that, because Kristaps Porzingis will be targeted in the playoffs. And the Hawks targeted tonight. Dejounte, when he went off in overtime, he kept switching. He wanted Kristaps Porzingis. And you would think, why do you want a 7'3" guy who is long? And Dejounte showed you, because you can't guard him, can't keep up with me, can't step with me, can't play with me, can't ball with me. That's why. And he kept knocking him down right in his face. And then even when they, like I said, at the end, when they put Drew on him, you saw what Dejounte did. So overall, man, just a great overall victory tonight for them, because this was high-level basketball. This had a playoff atmosphere. The crowd was rocking. Like I said, this was basically March Madness for the Hawks, for the NBA. Second crazy win over the Boston Celtics this week. Everybody's excited. Everybody's fun. Everybody is ready to go. I see Boston fans saying they want Atlanta in the playoffs. Atlanta fans saying they want Boston in the playoffs. And listen, I don't mean to put any type of hope in anybody's parade. Hawks have a tough road ahead still. They got to get through Chicago probably, and they got to get through either the 76ers, who would probably, I would assume, have Embiid back, assuming, we don't know, or Miami Heat, who Miami, you can't ever say you're gonna beat Miami. You gotta go beat them if you're gonna earn that, especially in a do or die game. So Hawks, if they get to Boston, they earned their way into the playoffs for sure with those 2 wins, man. Because they're gonna have to be some gritty wins if they're gonna get in there. So, like I said, and then we'll see about the health of the guys. Obviously, like I said, I expect to see. We're in the window where maybe we should hear updates on Kobe, AJ, and Jalen here soon. So hopefully they'll be back soon. Hawks have a big game against Milwaukee, and they have a chance to actually have 3 wins this week against 2 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference if they can beat Milwaukee on Saturday, and also finish the week a perfect 4-0 overall. But now I want to get into this, because I've seen a lot of this Discourse before the game today. And I hate to have to talk about this. So obviously with the Hawks having some success, and even tonight having the success they've had, Dejounte playing the game that he played, you're going to have those people who are going to come out and say, yep, Trae Young's the problem. Yep, Trae Young is the issue. We need to trade Trae. He's the problem. Right? And I'll tell you right now, we're still not better without Trae Young. Because the thing is that the situation is so much more complex than people make it. It's not as simple as you remove Trae Young and now the team's better. You got to think about the changes that have been made. You lose your star, you have to play differently. You know, the thing is, when you traded for Dejounte Murray, you traded for him to have another guy who, if Trae was off or Trae was hurt, he could step into that role and still maintain. And that's what Dejounte has done. He's having a career month. He's having a great month. But yet, in the grand scheme of that, people are taking that and saying, well, that means Trae Young's the problem because we're winning a little bit more with him, without him. And again, that's also a very unfair assessment to make towards Trae Young because remember, Jalen's been out through half of this. Kobe's been out. Bay is out for the year. Okongwu's been out. You've had a ton of injuries. Trae Young is not the only player who's gone. You can't just say solely we're winning because he's out of the lineup when you have other guys who are out of the lineup. That just seems like you are targeting Trae Young and to fit a narrative that you're trying to push. And I hate the fact that people push narratives. As Hawks fans, we should want to win in any way we can. If we could still win without her star, that's fantastic. Because the thing is that if Trae Young was the only player who was out during this entire run, then maybe you could have that discussion. But he has not been. There has been multiple players who have been out during this run. But yet people are trying to look at specifically Trae Young himself and say he's the reason why we were losing. Well, we had a losing record with him. If you look at this team right now, Hunter playing some great basketball. Vic Krejci has been a revelation for this team. Bruno has played really well as a backup center. Garrison Matthews has gave you 2 point games in the last week. You weren't getting that with Trae Young. And when the team was fully healthy. Do people realize that? Like literally think about this. If you want to talk about defense, well, think about this. So Trae's out. But Bay's also one of our worst defenders. He's out. You don't think that has impacted the defense? You got Vic Krejci now who's 6'8", who can defend, can steal and disrupt and pass. He'd be a more all-around skillful player. Bay is a better offensive player than Vic Krejci. We all know that. But at the end of the day, Krejci does a lot of other things better than Bay. That has helped because Quid is able to play the game or a certain type of game differently. You know? Like the fact that you're getting 20-point games from Garrison Matthews, you don't think that makes an impact on if the team wins or loses? He didn't have a 20-point game when Trae was in the lineup. Bruno's had a couple of really big games. I mean, Wesley Matthews, before this game, for the most part, has been shooting the ball well from three. When he was playing early this season, Wesley Matthews had one of the worst three-point percentages in the league. And so you're getting all these things that are working in your favor now. While Trae happens to be out, you cannot sit here and say that it's because Trae Young is out is why things improve. There is a cluster of injuries that have a lot of group of guys to play and compete and have a chance to show what they can do and earn their spots. This is opportunity for them to show that they deserve to play whenever the lineup. Like I said, Quinn's going to have to figure things out whenever they get healthy again. I mean, I would assume you're going to probably run out there probably once you're healthy again. Trae, Dejounte, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen, and then Clint Capella. And then if you're healthy bench-wise, Okongwu, Bogey, probably Vic Krejci, and probably one of the Matthews. Whether that's Garrison or Wesley, we'll see. You might even go 10 deep, depending on if you want to put Kobe back into the lineup and go 10. 10 guys deep. Because usually playoffs can shorten the rotation. I mean, if you're Quinn, you have a decent reason to go to 10 guys now, if realistically, if you want to. And so the narrative that Trae Young is holding this team back, and people are trying to pit them against each other, and trying to say that Trae's holding us back and Dejounte can help elevate us to where we need to go. And just listen, I love Dejounte Murray. Trust me, man. He was big for us tonight. This is why we traded for him. What we got tonight from him is why we traded for him. But to sit here and just say the reason why everything is where it is because of Trae. It's not like we jumped seeds. We were the 10th seed when Trae went out. We are the 10th seed right now. Now we are a game within Chicago right now, so there is a chance still to, if you continue to win some games, Chicago plays a big game against Brooklyn tomorrow. If they lose that game, Hawks now are tied for 9th. And then you play a big game against Chicago next Monday. So clear at an 8 o'clock game in Chicago, if Hawks win that game, now you still lose the season series. You still have to finish with a better record than Chicago, but you now are a game ahead of Chicago for the 9th seed, and now could potentially host the first play-in game before going on the road to either Philly or Miami right now, unless obviously another team like the Pacers fall into that spot. So we got to stop with the narrative. We got to stop pitting guys against each other. I just want the Atlanta Hawks to be successful. I just want this team to be good. I just want this team to finish the season strong. I would love for this team to make the postseason, and I would love for them to battle against Boston. I would love just to potentially get the series we got last year. I would definitely say this series is probably going to give you shades of 2007 when the Hawks, under 500, got into the postseason in the Eastern Conference, played the number 1 seed, best record in the league, Boston Celtics, and pushed them to 7 games. That definitely is what this that definitely has the vibes of that, And so, listen, we got to support our guys. I'm glad that we are playing well. I'm glad that we've done what we've done. We just got to continue to grow. We got to continue to improve. We have to continue to enjoy this. Like I said, they got to refocus. They got Milwaukee coming in town. That's a tough game. Milwaukee's not going to take you lightly, especially beating Boston twice in a week. So you got to get ready to ball out. And you got to get ready to compete. So we'll have to see. But overall, man, like I said, big game tonight from Dejounte Murray, hitting a game winner to beat the Boston Celtics. March Madness in Atlanta, crowd going crazy, State Farm rocking. Also shout out to Jack Trace. I don't know if I'm saying his last name. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. He won $10K at half. He won not halftime. He won $10K during one of the commercial breaks. The events they do in between if you go to an NBA game, hitting a half-court shot. So shout out to him. He does Hoxtology on YouTube. Really good YouTube channel. Go check him out as well. So definitely want to give a shout out to him. You always got to give shout out to your fellow content creators. But yeah, like I said, guys, big exciting win. Enjoy it. Great win. And we're electric right now. So we're gonna continue to just kind of see how things go and get ready to play Milwaukee on Saturday. So like I said, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning into the Leave the Hawks podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Bryce_2K to see all my Hawks takes. How I follow these games and follow the season for the team. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to like or don't forget to leave a rating or a review if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any podcast platform that you are listening to this on. Definitely appreciate all the love and support for you guys. Like I said, glad we could talk about this exciting victory over the Boston Celtics tonight. Just electrifying game, down to the wire, back and forth, lead changes. And the fact that Dejounte, like I said, 4-4 on go-ahead game-winning shots in the overtime and fourth quarter this season, 100%. So he is, like I said, by certification, the most clutch player in the NBA. But that's all we got here for you guys. It's Bryce Lewis. See you next time.